Welcome to A Pinch of Basile. I am your host with the most. This is our wonderful show, A Pinch of Basile. And if you're joining us on Facebook, thank you so much. But don't forget, you can call in anytime at 844-790-8255. That's 844-790-8255. We stream live on Facebook, as you can listen online on americamatters.us and on the TuneIn app. That's right, from your phone or tablet, just search America Matters. You really don't have any excuse whatsoever for not listening, or even watching us. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Janice Hermson, and of course, we couldn't do this without our great engineer, Craig Moss, who is, ladies and gentlemen, was just recently inducted. Are you ready for this, Janice? Recently inducted to the Nevada Broadcasters Hall of Fame this weekend. He even wore a suit for this occasion. Congratulations, Craig. From the bottom of my heart, this is fantastic.
Thank you. It was the first new suit I've ever purchased in my life.
That's what I was discussing, the suit. So not so much the Hall of Fame, which is nice, but that you got a suit that even looks good on you is an amazing thing to
And
me.
he's even on the website there, and you'll actually be able to see him. Yeah, how about that?
Craig in a suit, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that not too many things arouse me. Neither does this, but I just want to let you know that not too many things arouse me. Okay.
Just so you know.
Hey, Craig, congratulations, brother, with all sincerity, man. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Much appreciated, Basil.
Not a problem, man. Would you do anything special for this wonderful occasion?
One of our other past show hosts here, Pat Shillito, and his wife Tara, who live now in San Diego, drove to Vegas to be there and celebrate the event with me. So,
cool, man.
I didn't know Pat went. I didn't hear you say that yesterday.
Yeah.
I must have been zoned out somewhere.
Yeah, Pat and Tara went, and so Friday we went out to dinner, and then we went to see Michael Jackson's One at the Excalibur Cirque du Soleil show. It was excellent. It was a beautiful show. Cirque du Soleil has 6 or 7 shows going there in Vegas right now, and then Saturday night we had our big gala dinner and had some great dinner and had some fun, and then got inducted.
Dude, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I was waiting for the men in white coats to come along personally, but because doing this for 40 plus years, I got to be a little crazy.
Well, to be in this business that long, yeah, you do. Or there's something mentally wrong with you, which I think can all attest to that as well, that it really hasn't affected you that badly. But I'm very, very happy for you. And
it doesn't not a prerequisite to be crazy, but it sure does help.
It does. It really, really does.
I agree. I've not been doing it even half as long as you, and I can tell you that.
Well, I just know that I've been doing for roughly about a year with you guys, and why I haven't been inducted just because of everything that I've done in the past, to me, is an amazing, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah, well, the first prerequisite would be Nevada, so you're going to lose there, bud.
Well, you got me on that one. All right, you got me on that one.
But I'm sure there must be one in North Carolina or something, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Here's the way this works, Basil. All you have to do is relocate, do 20 total years in the broadcast industry. 5 of that has to be in Nevada.
Oh, only 5?
Only 5.
Oh, that's interesting.
Then you can go into the Nevada Broadcasters Hall.
All right.
So you have to relocate for 5 years.
Wow, so that's it? I only got to do for 5 years?
That's it.
But then you have to have a total of 20.
So go get a gig in Facebook land. I know, I just was looking at something here, right? Go get a gig in Las Vegas, and you're good to go.
Is that all?
That's it.
Oh,
simple stuff.
I mean, let me tell you, I think that's tremendous if you can do that. To be quite honest, but you know what? I've had so many years in broadcasting because I've been the voice of for many great radio stations. I've done so much. You think that would count for something?
It may count, but you still got to have 5 in Nevada. Hate to burst your bubble, Basile.
Yeah. Ever since you got a suit, man, you changed. That's all I'm going to tell you. You changed.
You have it.
You get a suit, you buy a what? Knowing you, a $75 suit, and then all of a sudden you just change your attitude and you forget the little people who made you who you are. Dude, again, congratulations. And for those of you who are listening right now, you can follow me. Forget about Craig. Follow me. Okay, I have nice suits. Okay, not this. I have like $100 suits just to, I don't want to brag.
Okay, then I got you beat by 4 times that, so.
Oh my God. All right, listen, folks, you can follow me at Basile Fans, BASILEFANS, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Today we have an awesome guest, Mike Bond. He's the author of that new book that just came out, Janice, Goodbye Paris, will be joining us in the second half hour of the show. Have you read any of his books before?
I have. He wrote Snow, and I'm trying to remember because it's been a while, but yeah, right. I've read a couple of them.
He's got, I guess, 8 of them. Best-selling novels.
He does, lots.
But, a war and human rights journalist, an ecologist, an award-winning poet. A real interesting guy for sure, and to have him on this show is a real big coup for us. And for those of you who are wondering, Basile, where the hell are you going to be? Are you going to be anywhere near us? Well, of course I will. Here are my 2 dates for this upcoming month of September. And by the way, for those of you who are listening right now, I want to wish you, just in case I don't get an opportunity to do it before or later on in this show, I should say, happy Labor Day weekend, and we'll get to that in a second. But our tour dates, Saturday, September 7th, I'll be in Mobile, Alabama at the Annunciation Greek Orthodox Church to help benefit the AHEPA Service Dogs for Warriors program. Call 251-509-1721. Sunday, September 8th, I'll be in Decatur, which is a greater Atlanta area, at the Vista Room. Call 404-321-5000. September 16th through the 23rd, I'll be cruising with Royal Caribbean on the grandeur of the seas in the Bahamas. September 27th, I'll be in Paramus, New Jersey at St. Athanasios Greek Orthodox Church. Call 201-450-8647 or 201-982-5125. September 27th, I'll be at Piscataway, New Jersey at St. George's Greek Orthodox Church to help benefit the AHEPA Service Dogs for Warriors program. Again, because it's near and dear to me, call 732-319-7639 or 732-692-0726. And don't forget the Basile's UK tour. That's right. I'll be in Birmingham, England, Bristol, England, Beckenham, England, London, England, and Nottingham, England, where I'll be wearing some green tights and floating around in the, like Robin Hood, but it'll be Basile in the hood. So go to Basile UK Tour. That's Basile UK Tour.co.uk. So make sure you go ahead and do that, and we'll see you guys all there. But I got to be honest with you. Are we close to closing out our first segment so soon?
Yep, we are.
Are we? Because I still see 13:51 on my clock right now.
That's because you went over, bud.
Oh,
you're on the other side.
I'm so sorry. We're going to be right back after a couple of these wonderful announcements from our sponsors. We'll see you in a bit. You're listening to A Pinch of Basile.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ,
a Lotus broadcast station.
The power of radio since 1967.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
Oh, we are indeed back. You're listening to Basile all around the world. I'm talking to South Africa, Australia, all throughout Europe, and, of course, North America, South America, Central America. Even the Eskimos somewhere in the Antarctic are listening to me, I'm sure, right now. And you are getting on. If you haven't gotten on to us yet, go to the TuneIn app, find America Matters, or just listen every week on americamatters.us. If you miss any part of the show, you'll find them under podcasts on the site A Pinch of Basile, or on Facebook on Basile Fans page. I got some of my friends already watching right now. Mwah, to you guys. You guys can always catch us all over. So, I got to be honest with you. This whole Labor Day weekend thing, all right, is starting to wear on me. And,
already?
How about you, Janice?
Already?
Yeah.
How come?
Well, I've been already drinking. Anticipating the celebration, and I'm over it. My liver has gone on strike.
Yeah, it got tired of the ouzo.
It did. Nothing like an ouzo hangover. Do you know I can still remember back in college, my last final I took was a Spanish final. My mother was in the hospital, God rest her soul, and when she was in the hospital, I was starting to, like, my father gave me a bottle of ouzo. He goes, "Hey, when you're done, enjoy yourself." And I'm like, okay. Myself and 3 other of my fraternity brothers polished off the bottle not in class, just outside of class. Dude, to this day, I have 2 days that I cannot account for. I was past that, and there is nothing. I love black jelly beans, but I don't want it to come out of every pore of my body because that's what it tasted and sounded. I was like under a stupor that you wouldn't believe. It was the crazy. I hate ouzo because I can't drink it to this day. Cannot drink ouzo.
That's
just saying.
Funny.
Not really, but it is what it is. Anyway, thanks to History.com, I can answer some of these questions about who created Labor Day. Have you ever had any ideas about that, Janice?
I never did until today, to be honest with you.
You really?
I never really paid too much attention. It was Labor Day. I went into labor on Labor Day, so
Did you really?
I really did.
You really?
Yeah, my second child I had on the Labor Day weekend after the doctor said, "Absolutely not. You are not going into labor this weekend. I'm out of here. You're not going into labor." Yeah. Well, he was wrong.
And bam, water broke. And that was the end of that.
He was done. Okay. Yeah, he was gone, but I still had my child. So,
Well, in the wake of massive unrest in the 1800s, and I don't know, I did my research on this, Janice, as you know I always do.
Yeah, okay.
People were working 12 hours a day, like our wonderful engineer, Craig Moss.
Yes,
12
7 days
hours
a week.
A day, 7 days a week. And then in 1894, the Pullman Palace Car Company in Chicago went on strike. The government decided to dispatch troops to Chicago, unleashing a wave of crazy riots that resulted in the deaths of more than a dozen workers, which is very, very sad. In the wake of this massive unrest and an attempt to repair ties with American workers, Congress really did something, passed an act of making Labor Day a legal holiday in the District of Columbia and the Territories. On June 28, 1894, President Grover Cleveland signed into law. More than a century later, the true founder of Labor Day has yet to been identified. Many credit Peter J. McGuire, co-founder of the American Federation of Labor, while others have suggested that Matthew McGuire, a secretary of the Central Labor Union, first proposed the holiday. So they had a strike, the government killed some people, and we got a day off. So if you're looking to get a day off, my suggestion, kill some people. That's all I'm saying. You want to have a holiday? Try that. That should be a good thing. No, don't do that. But I know.
But there you go.
Yeah, you really have to kill people to get a holiday off. Is that the way they did it back in the day?
I don't know. I'm wondering about that one. That's for sure. Crazy, right?
Well, it's kind of crazy. I think. I don't know. I mean, to be able to. They had to go through such great lengths, but I would figure people were probably much more religious back then than they are now. And he always thought that the Lord's Day was Sunday, right? A day of rest.
Right.
And I don't understand why they wouldn't. I don't know. To me, it's a little bit, a little crazy.
Well, yeah, I just thought that it was kind of a nutty kind of a deal, Yeah,
to say the least. But, you ever wonder, do other countries have Labor Day?
I did wonder that as well.
Did you really?
I did.
I did some more research on that.
Did you? How good of you.
I'm
so happy.
I wish you would do more for this show. And it's sad that I have to labor this way.
In such a manner.
You say, it really is, because, you evidently don't care who I am. Evidently, no one cares who I am. But there are 3 hypotheses about oh, shut up. You don't say a word. Okay. All of a sudden, I get honored by the Hall of Fame. I can cut in anytime I want. Yeah. So, there are hypotheses about the origin. I mean, there are directives. Let's talk about this, because I want to know about other countries. I'm sure they do. But what is this whole thing about not wearing white?
You don't want to know about the other countries and what they
I mean, do they celebrate
do.
Labor Day?
They call it May Day or International Workers' Day, and they have it in May.
But I always thought that May Day was a Russian Soviet.
Yeah, no, it's I know you did your research, and I know you found that there were lots of countries that celebrate on May 1st, and it's in Angola. It's recognized as a public holiday and called Workers' Day. Go figure.
Wow.
Right?
In Angola only?
No. Ghana, Kenya, Libya, Morocco, Nigeria, South Africa. Come on, lots of places. Canada celebrates in September like we do. Okay?
They celebrate the same weekend?
Yeah. However, it's the first Monday in September is Canada's official Labor Day, right?
Right.
However, May Day is marked by unions and leftists. That's easy for me to say. Leftists, yes. It's celebrated on May 1st. May Day is an important day of trade union and community group protest in the province of Quebec. So they apparently aren't happy that they're doing Labor Day or whatever, May Day, right? However, one interesting point that you found is that in... just to carry this out, right?
Wise ass. Okay, go ahead.
Just want to make sure we give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
In New Zealand, workers are among the first in the world to claim the right for an 8-hour working day when in 1840, the carpenter Samuel Parnell won an 8-hour day in Wellington. Labor Day was first celebrated in New Zealand on the 28th of October, 1890. And they celebrate every year on the 4th Monday of October. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, okay.
Of all the places, Australia, even your favorite place, one of your favorite places, May Day in Australia. Yeah, I know.
Well, I was every time
United Kingdom, they have a May Day. See? Do your homework.
Well, I did. I did this research.
I know.
Okay.
You just forgot to read it.
I want to make sure that I understand and you understand and the audience understands that I have done my research.
You have done your research. You're a good guy.
Well, knowing, because Soviet politics, May 1st was always May Day, and that, I always hated May Day, because
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
I never really cared for it. But what was this whole thing about, wearing white after?
Why can't we wear white after Labor Day?
And speaking of white, I got to tell you, I did a wonderful event that my wife was part of. Actually, she was the co-chair along with Lee Morton and my wife Kula Katsikas did a fantastic job. And it's called Last Chance to Wear White Pants for Hospice, where we raised tens of thousands of dollars for hospice here in the Wilmington, North Carolina area. So I was very, very proud to be thankful. I'm so thankful to be part of it. And they did such a great thing that they did. Again, it was called the Last Chance to Wear White Pants. Hospice, for all the people out there, I work closely with MDA, Muscular Dystrophy Association, but hospice is very, very close and near and dear to me, as is the Cooley's Anemia Foundation as well. But folks, listen, that's all about it for Labor Day and why you can't wear white after. You can, but you may blend in with snow. So I'm saying if you want to be recovered, want to be recovered.
If you want to be recovered, don't wear white.
Don't wear white. Anyway, listen, folks. To let you know, we're ending the close of our second segment. You are listening to A Pinch of Basile. We're going to be right back with a couple of words from our sponsors. We'll see you in a piece. Mwah.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ,
a Lotus broadcast station.
The power of radio since 1967.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Oh, we are indeed back with a pinch of basil, and don't forget, I am streaming this live on Facebook. You can also listen on the TuneIn app and any phone device. Once you have the app, just search America Matters. If you're on the computer, go to americamatters.us, and we want to hear your comments. So listen, go to my Basil fans page on Facebook. That's BASILEFANS. And if you have any questions for our guests, please give us a call at 844-790-8255. You can also text. Janice, can you tell them that number, please?
I will share that with you. That is 775-237-2266.
And now it's time for our guest, Mike Bond. Before we go, I got to read a little bit of this because this is just fantastic. Mike Bond, author of Goodbye Paris, is called the Master of Existential Thriller by the BBC, the British Broadcast Company. One of America's best thriller writers, according to Culture Buzz, and one of the 21st century's most exciting authors by the Washington Times. He is the author of 8 best-selling novels, a war and human rights journalist, ecologist, and award-winning poet. Based on his own experiences in many dangerous and war-torn regions of the world, his novels portray a multifaceted approach to the world. I am glad that I could have Mike call in today. Welcome to A Pinch of Basil, Mike. How are you?
Very much, and I'm delighted to be here. It's a great show. You can't make me laugh too hard, though. I have to.
No, I promise I won't. If you know anything about my sense of humor, I really suck at it, so it's okay.
See, you broke your promise.
Yeah. Listen, first of all, I was sent the book, and I got to be honest with you. I've heard of you before. I've seen your books before because I do get a chance to anything to deal with military espionage, military or espionage, governmental espionage. I love anything like that. I really do. I can't wait to start breaking this down. But I got a couple of things because a lot of people, have characters. Other authors have characters. And you have your main character that you developed. Tell us about Pono.
Well, what it is, basically, he started out life, he grew up in Hawaii on the Big Island. He's half Hawaiian. And after 9/11, he, of course, like many of us, looking for something to do productive, he joined Special Forces. And but he's also a great surfer. He's now a veteran of the Special Forces. He's not in the Special Forces now, but he still does a lot of work with various agencies of the U.S. government that don't exist, and one of these required that he leave a surfing competition in Tahiti to go to Paris to try to stop a terrorist attack on the Eiffel Tower. So I too love anything to do with intelligence, covert action, stuff like that, as long as it stays in the real and doesn't become imaginary.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, but, in this day and age, I don't think anything is possible. Anything is possible out there right now. So, but more before, it's not like the old James Bond days, when you would send anything. You could do stuff remotely now, but I love when you have a real character going in there and handling, especially the bad guys, the terrorists that we're always afraid of.
Sure.
Let me ask you a question because I write as well. I've written a few things here and there.
Yeah,
when you're writing, do you think about how this is to me and my producer Janice Hermson, who's with us.
Yeah.
When you write, do you think about how the reader will view your book, or is it just about the story itself?
That's a really good question, and I now for the first time realized the answer because I've been asked similar things before, not exactly like that, but about the creative process. And I just realized what it is. Supposing a bunch of us were sitting down around a campfire somewhere, and one of us was trying to tell the others something very interesting and important that had happened that day. How you do that is to try to make it real for the person who's listening. So I think, to answer your question, what I try to do is to bring the reader right right absolutely into the middle of the action, so she or he feels like they're there. And the virtue to that is that it, instead of it just being kind of a left brain intellectual awareness that you're providing, you're actually having an emotional impact on the person because they feel they're there. So it makes it a lot more real, profound, and permanent in the mind of the reader or the listener. Do you see what I mean? Just as if we were trying to explain something important to somebody else.
Right. Right, and you know, I think that's fair, because I'll tell you what, I always try looking, when I write something, I'll create what I refer to as the it's the skeleton of what I'm trying to do from point A to point Z. And you know, and I try, and being an improv guy, I like an improvisation of taking this and bringing it here, and how can I make it complex yet easy for the audience who is reading or watching to follow. And sometimes it's really difficult to do that, especially when you're talking something that may be high tech, or could be something involving espionage, or the steps that you have to go through, may be with a DCI or the CIA or whatever the case may be, and how that the steps go up to the White House. To me, it's always difficult sometimes to explain that. But once you make it easier for the reader, I think what you're telling me, you made it that way, which I think is fantastic.
It's hard to do, but also it's to a certain extent what happens is, with me anyway, is that I don't try to plan too far in advance, and so to some degree, what I write down is I'm discovering it at the same time. I'm discovering how that person might react. So that makes it, again, more real and closer to what you were just saying. But the writing process is a frustrating and yet very rewarding one. And like you do, with all of the material and the various media that you do, is you get people so involved. And by getting people involved, one actually can bring them benefit, can change them, can sound silly, but can kind of in a small way improve the world. So that kind of interplay, it's not just the writer, it's the reader too.
Absolutely.
We're all the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's kind of funny when you do research, and I'm going to get to the research question in a bit, because there's so many more questions I want to ask you. How long did it take to write Goodbye Paris? About
a year, I would say. What I've been trying to do in my last several thrillers is I've been trying to write what I consider to be the perfect thriller. In other words, something that transports somebody right into a situation so that they live it right through till it's over. And of course, you never can write the perfect thriller, but in my previous Goodbye Paris and my previous novel Snow, that was what the aim was. But it takes a year, and there are about 75,000 pages, I think, and I can't speed it up no matter what I do. I can't make them go much faster.
It just doesn't happen.
No, Jan, it does not happen.
It's so funny. Yeah, I know. It was kind of funny when you do your research, and this is the question I was going to ask prior, but I was kind of curious how long it took to write Goodbye Paris. When you do your research, you got to be really careful. I know, there are other authors who have gone through the Freedom of Information Act to get information, and I know when another author, Tom Clancy, the late Tom Clancy, used to wind up going and getting stuff from CRS or the Congressional Research Service, or going to the Madison Library and getting information, and all of a sudden, they get a knock on the door from the FBI. Where'd you get this information? And all of a sudden, you go, from you guys. That's where I got it from.
Yeah.
You guys gave me that. So do you always have to kind of be careful where you get your information, just in case you may have overstepped your bounds?
Yeah, well, a lot of the information in my books is basically from my own memory and from being there. I tend to write only about places I've been and situations that I know something about, and so a lot of it is either my personal experience or that of certain friends who've been in the business and whom I trust. So,
right.
But But where I run into problems is not so much our beloved government or our beloved country, and I'm not joking when I say that, is some of the other countries in the world that have, how can I say it, perhaps a more interest in a quick resolution of somebody who's a pain in the neck. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, I do.
Yeah, there are some governments out there that you really try to avoid messing with, particularly those in the Middle East, because they have long memories and absolutely no scruples.
Yeah,
So,
very, very, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Folks, for all of you who are listening right now, if you have any questions, please call in at 844-790-8255 or text us at 775-237-2266. Our wonderful guest, Mike Bond, is going to be with us for another segment. Mike, I have a bunch of more questions. Please hang on, because I'll tell you what, this is... I'm going to keep in touch with you after, because I'm going to send you some of my stuff and tell me if I have a talent, because I might go to jail if I tell you some of the stuff that I've done.
Wow.
I don't want to even go through that.
That's good.
Long story.
Something worth going to jail for, I tell you. That's gonna be good. No, I'm not going anywhere, I promise you.
Yeah, okay. Listen, we got to go ahead and do that sponsor thing. We're going to be right back. If you have any questions, like I said, give us a call, 844-790-8255, or text us 775-237-2266. You are listening to A Pinch of Basil. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ,
A Lotus broadcast station.
the power of radio since 1967.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
So glad you can join us back on A Pinch of Basil. We've been having some fun. We're here with my very special guest. I got to tell you, Mike Bond, wonderful to talk with him off air and even more so on air. Mike, I got to tell you, some of the things that we've been going through and discussed, when you face obstacles in your writing, in your research, what do you do? I mean, what's your walk away? I mean, I usually walk away from my computer and I have a cocktail. Mm-hmm, but the thing is, I've been drinking so damn much, my liver's about ready to fall out of my ear. So you got to tell me, what do you do when you come up to any type of obstacles?
Well, that's a good question. You know, it's funny that you were mentioning about a cocktail, because when I was asked recently about the first of the Pono Hawkins novels, this is the third one, Goodbye Paris, but the first one, somebody asked me, you know, what led you to come up with this story? And I said, well, one night my wife and I had finished dinner, and I was watching up the movie, the Dirty Dishes, and listening to AC/DC, and sat down and had a gin and tonic, and this guy, Pono Hawkins, just jumped into my head and said, write about me. But so that's kind of a facetious one, you know. Without the gin and tonic, maybe he wouldn't have jumped in. But I think that what I try to do, and I fail at this, I have to say, Basil, I'm not good at it, is to, as you say, walk away or try to find another piece of the task that's easier to deal with. One of the things that I say in Goodbye Paris, that it's standard kind of operational lore, that when you're trying to deal with a very complex problem, like a bunch of terrorists that you can't find who are about to blow up the Eiffel Tower, when you're trying to do that, you try to find some tiny thread that you can pull on that leads to something else, and you keep pulling until pretty soon you get a big piece. But in the case of Goodbye Paris, every thread that he pulled on just broke off. But again, to respond directly to your question, what I should do most of the time is try to find another aspect of what I'm working on and go to work on that.
Oh, okay. So you just move to something else because what I try to do is I try and get away from everything completely. Go to a movie, pick up my kids, go shopping with them or whatever. just to, clear up my mind a little bit. But then I go broke when I go shopping with my kids, and I said, well, let me go crazy back in front of my computer because I can't afford the little, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I understand,
Yeah, okay. Let me ask you, how do you compare, this project with some of the other novels that you've done?
Well, this one, because it's a series, it's a little more different. And what happens is you get to know the character. The character grows and changes. He's now been in books spanning 8 different years, and when the first book he had just got finished as a veteran, and also been in jail twice. But now he's been out for 8 years and doing a lot of covert work for the agency and other groups. But so that's the virtue to this, is that the characters grow. As far as single novels, which is what my other 6 novels are, they're fun too, because you can get into something specific. Like I had been involved in East Africa in work against the elephant poachers, and so it was wonderful to be able to write about just hunting the poachers, which is what we were doing. And so that was just kind of a unique experience over a number of months, whereas other books can take years. So this is different in that regard. I guess that's what I want to say.
When you write, you said you have your friends. Are there other authors? I mean, I mentioned Tom Clancy earlier because that's probably my first reading, and with Clancy it was always a little bit different, and everyone has their own approach. With Clancy, it was this 1/3 of it was the setup. The second third, it was the setup, and sometimes it was a little like, oh God, this is really dragging. Then all of a sudden you have some resolution to what's going on. Then all of a sudden this big powder keg. Do you sit and have any of your friends who are authors influenced you in any way to write the way you write today?
That's a really good question, and the answer would be no. And I don't really have many friends that are authors. Most of my friends are military.
Okay.
And they what they're interested in is reality. Is this is this bull, or are you giving us a real story? And so yeah. But anyway, I really don't know. I don't know many other authors, hardly at all. I'm kind of a loner, and I out of the country a lot. So I don't go to authors' conferences or anything like that. So I'm helpless in that regard. I'm no good. I have no decent answer to your question. But I do tell you one thing, that having military friends and veterans is immensely rewarding, and nobody lets you get away with anything.
Well, that's probably good.
Yeah, very good.
Makes it good for the reader, at least, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm passionate, Janice. I'm passionate about putting the reader in a real situation, not a made-up situation, not a fantasy situation, but in many cases, many of my books are about sections of my life where I did precisely what's in the book, and in some of the nastiest places in the world. So I try to write about that because it's real.
Do you think that there are misconceptions about your book, that people think that it's not real?
Occasionally, you get a kind of a smarmy review from somebody,
right.
But I've had we all get nasty ones, but I don't think Basile ever has gotten a bad review. You're just too
I haven't.
funny.
To be quite honest with you, everyone loves me, so I don't know about all you other people who are listening right now.
Oh, Basile, you don't want to go there.
I was just checking. Anyway, but, yeah.
Well, it's very tough to be humble when you're me, but it is what it is. So, I will say, because a lot of artists, especially in my work, a lot of comedians always feel that they have to play to other comedians in the room.
Oh, wow.
My thing, and I think that's the worst thing you can do. You go to play to the people that pay your salary, and that's the audience. You make them laugh. Club owners don't care. So club owners could be compared to your publisher. Publishers don't care. They want to sell books. They want to make sure that you get out there and that the public loves you. What other people may think about you, you would love to have their respect. But if they don't, I'm not going to lose sleep overnight. You know?
That's really, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and and that's good when what are you going to do? You can't make everyone happy, and listen. The last people I listen to are is the people who are reviewing me.
Your producer.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd like to turn the tables on you, Basile, just a little bit. What is the difference in your mind between comedy that works? I mean, say a short routine or however you wish to perceive it, and that doesn't work. What makes good? It's a question I've asked a billion times. What makes good comedy?
Well, first of all, this is the Pinch of Basile show. I ask the damn questions, Mike. That's number one.
I'm sorry. Okay. Gosh darn it. Why don't you ask me what I think about that?
You know what? To be honest with you, you have an idea and or concept, and something will hit you funny. I sit there and I see things that make me laugh. Now, my problem is, how do I actually get that same image or my idea without the crickets blaring in the back from Craig Moss, our wonderful engineer, Hall of Fame, by the way, just with a brand new suit. Anyway, the thing is, what you do is you try it out, and you put that one bit, that new bit, maybe it's 2 lines or maybe even 3 lines, 3 sentences that you throw out there. You try and put it between 2 strong bits. So if it does sink, you at least got backup with the bit that you're going to follow up with. Okay.
Interesting.
So, and that's what I try to do. When I do a joke, I'm very character driven. So it's not so much exactly what I say, it's how I say it. There's a cadence to it. So there's a cadence to it. You're following the story. Sometimes, I have God, bless me with a voice that can inflect and break into various character voices. I was blessed with that, and so when a bit doesn't work, but you also know that even if they didn't respond, there's something there to go back and at least tweak it, and it's like a bonsai bush, if you will. A tweak here, a tweak there, a little spin here, a little nip there, and a little tuck there, and hopefully you come up with that perfect line, that joke, as it were. Mike, I hope one day that we get a chance to meet. You are probably one of the best guests that we've had, and I can't wait to read your book tonight. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on to our show, and I hope you'll be back.
I would love to be back, and I promise to be a better question answerer the next time.
You were fantastic.
And Mike, I'm hoping that you're going to be able to come on What's the Story too. So I'm trying to get that booked.
I would love to, Jen.
Right.
You guys
Thank
keep
you
me
so
posted.
much.
You guys take care, and don't stop laughing ever.
No, we'll try not to. Thank you so much, Mike Bond. Ladies and gentlemen, reminders, don't forget to listen every week on Tuesdays from 6 to 7 New York City time. That's Eastern Standard Time. We can be heard all over the world at americamatters.us. If you're using a TuneIn app, just search America Matters and be sure to keep us on one of your favorites. Questions and comments, go to Basile Fans on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and give me a call at 844-790-8255. You have been listening to a wonderful show on A Pinch of Basile.